Hey, guys, it's Old Man G back again, and we're live for another. What next to Manchester United? That's basically what we're going to be talking about today. I'm joined with Bits and Bobs and Red Manx TV. Actually, Red Manx, how should I introduce you? I didn't even say that before we went live. Introduce yourselves, guys.
Yeah, Max, you can go first, man. You can go first. Can you hear me? Is he there?
No, it's your.
Is he on mute?
No, it shouldn't be. I'll mute his mic and then I'll mute it. Bits and you introduce yourself first, Bits and Bob, and then I'll just remove and then add.
Yeah. So what? It's your boy, Bits and Bobs. Yeah, man. How you doing, guys? Catch me on YouTube, on Twitter, on my name handle. Obviously, catch me on the Usman Talks United show, man. I'm a cast member of that team. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to that. Also, make sure you subscribe to Red Devil Studio. G, thanks for having me on, man.
Appreciate it, man. I think Red Manx, if you're hearing, I think your camera's frozen, so just come back in and come back out again. Exactly. But that's obviously Red Manx TV, really good YouTuber, and check out his stuff as well. So, yeah, guys, thanks so much for coming in. I see that KSI is in the comments. Shouts out to KSI. Hope you're doing well. Apologies for being late. I had family over, and yeah, we're actually quite late, 50 minutes late, but hopefully let's just have like a good show and basically just take things from there. So, the talk is essentially we're talking is like what next to Manchester United? What next to Manchester United? Manchester United obviously beat Everton the weekend. I think a lot of people expected us to lose the game, and once again, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with his, I assume, Norwegian juju, was able to get another win. And how? I don't know why. I don't know where. But what I would say, if I pass on to Bits and Bobs, mate, is a lot of people left that game thinking, I don't know what to take from that game. What does it mean, etc. What I would take from it is that the players are clearly playing. Sorry about that. The players are clearly playing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like the results aren't consistent, but if a player's down tools, I mean, you look at what happened under Jose, etc. Like, players, you lost suggesting you're down in tools, and you don't perform like that if a manager is completely and totally lost the dressing room. So that's the only thing. It's not that Solskjaer's a good coach, potentially, or good manager, but it does do something that, fair play to Valencia. I think they scored a goal. It's 2-1 to them, and Varane is a brick. Like people gassing this guy, man, Varane. I mean, like the guy is the French Chris Smalling at best, but by himself. By himself, he is. With Ramos, he's okay, but by himself, he's a French Chris Smalling. But I mean, that game yesterday, Bits and Bobs, mate. Like, what were your thoughts on it? Do you have anything to feel about it? Like, what do you think?
To be honest, for me, yeah, I think we won and we move. Okay, the players done what they're supposed to do, so I'm not gonna get giddy. Okay, well done. Some players played well. Yeah, cool story, bro. That's it. I can't really because we've been here before. Do you know what I'm trying to say? We've been here before. We've seen them win a game. We've seen them go away and score goals. We've got no problem playing away. And also for me, it's consistency. And I think to myself when I look at that table,
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt, Bits of Arsenal are 2-0 down to Villa at home.
Are they 2-0 down?
2-0 down.
Time.
AFTV and chill. AFTV and chill.
All you. Hold the smoke. Hold it. One Arsenal about Thomas Partey. Fucking Thomas the Tank Engine.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I know we're talking United here, but I mean, we got the man, guys. We
want free.
Let's go, Villa. Let's go. So, but anyway, go on, Bits and Bobs, man. Just about that. I just thought I would give a give a context to the fact that people gassing about Arteta being better than Ollie and United are trash, etc. If we beat our game in hand against Burnley, we'll be above Arsenal comfortably, no problem. So
yeah. So what I'm saying is, so for me, was that do you know if we beat Chelsea and we beat Arsenal, okay, we could be a lot higher, in the league. And if we had beaten Turkish whoever they are, if we had beaten them, it would have been on a good run. Then there's no chat about Ollie. The position we're in right now, most clubs call Sam Allardyce when they're in this position. They start to panic. They start to have a crisis. And for me, I just think that if Ollie wins, I said Ollie will probably. I was like, my heart says we're probably going to get beat, but my head says that Ollie will just win. And you know what happens when you have good players and individual performances happen? You're going to win. And I just think that he's won. And what I didn't like about it was that he started complaining. Now, he started talking about the schedule, the fixture list. Listen, he played in the treble team. They were playing every 2-3 days. Shut your mouth. Get on with it. That's what happens when you're successful. You want to be successful. You got into the Champions League. What did you think was going to happen?
I have a theory he wanted to do that so he shift the narrative.
Yeah. It's a deflection, G. It's a deflection. Look, he's starting to learn, some managerial tricks here. But for me, man, like you should have just took your W and just carried on. I think for me, Ollie is probably. I'd want Ollie to resign and just say, look, I've took you as far as I can go. He's done a great job. He's got some deadwood out. He's lifted the morale, the atmosphere at the club, and so on and so on. Okay, people were going to say the board, the structure, but listen, the board doesn't play on the football pitch. The board doesn't train and coach these guys, So for me, man, I'd like him to leave. I mean, I haven't got any. It's not about Ollie in or Ollie out, because if he's the manager, he's the manager. But for me, I just think for the club and for the players, I'd prefer if he did leave, because I think if we're going in the way he's managing us, we're not making top 4. And people will say last season we had this defense, we had that. Yeah, but this season we have the same defense, and look where we are. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, a few things. I mean, I agree and I don't agree and I don't disagree. I agree at the same time. I think that, like I said, before we even went live, it's clear to me that the players are playing for the manager, and my thing is that there's a possibility that the players don't want him sacked. And the reason why he's still on the job, like why, like say Mourinho, for example, got sacked, because Mourinho lost the dressing room, and the players might be thinking like, if a new manager comes in, that they might not necessarily, because you got to bear it, because you bear in mind these things, like if a new manager comes in, that this new manager might not necessarily have it as good, because I still don't understand, because we talk about consistency, and I do agree that a good chunk of that is because of Ollie's tactics. But I also do think that as players themselves, like I'm like, why is it that you guys just turn up when there's a threat to his job? Like, you guys also have responsibility as players, like to wake up, to be consistent. Like going back to the Istanbul game, where I'm like, that defensive mistake from Matic, Maguire, etc., is not acceptable. And then Maguire has a really, really good half. Sorry, I should read out. Redman, sorry, I'll try coming again and see if I'll reset. Okay, yep, I've seen your background. I've got you now. Let's just see if this... Redman's bro, are you there?
Yo, I can hear you now, yeah.
Yep, we can hear you as well, man. We can hear you as well. Yep, I think that's working. So we're just talking about our thoughts on the game, and how you feel post Everton versus Manchester United. What are your thoughts? Is this guy serious? If this guy is serious,
3-0. What? 3-0. Are you serious? Are you serious?
Guys,
Free.
shout out to Watkins, man. Shout out to Watkins. Hashtag Watkins. Hashtag Ollie Watkins.
Hey, come on. Come on. 3-0. Oi. Almost the tank engine, yeah? Almost the tank engine. What we saying? Fucking Elmo from Sesame Street. What we saying, boys? Come on.
Sorry, go on, Red Mag. Sorry, I just, you know, these Arsenal fans are bantering us. Let's be real. But as I was saying to Arsenal fans and Spurs fans, you guys are not in a position to banter us in the position that you are, in the trophies you are. Let's just. I know United are bad, but let's get it real. Just know your place, know your position. Don't come to banter us right now. Red Max, man, you go ahead. What are your thoughts on the Everton game?
Obviously, I wanted the 3 points going into the game. There was a lot of people that obviously wanted to lose the game so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could get sacked. But I just think if you think that, then you're obviously not a United fan. I can see from one point, obviously, if you want a club to be successful, then we probably do need to move on. But about the Everton game, I really was impressed with the performance, how he went about it. And yet again, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saves his job, you could say, really, couldn't you?
No, exactly. You know, so, and this is the thing. It's just like I said, I agree. As Bobs was saying that, bits and Bobs was saying that, you know, this inconsistency can't continue if we're gonna build. I completely agree, especially when you see what Chelsea, what Liverpool, what City, will take are doing. It's just not sorry, shout out to Average Joe in the comments, by the way. I hear you, Average Joe. I hear you. Thanks for joining the stream. It can't continue. But like I was saying, it was I just get the impression the players like this manager. They like him. And I feel like they fear that if a new manager comes in, that they might not get it as good. And so when his job is on the line, they just sort of just turn up and perform when they do it, because it doesn't make sense if they, you know, don't like this guy. And to be fair to Ollie, and I'm not Ollie, not Ollie out. I'm in the Ollie indifferent thing. I do generally think that if we actually had a very good centre back, someone up at McCartney, whatever, half of the goals that we concede, I don't think we concede. I don't think that when I actually look back, so I look back at some of the goals that we conceded over this season, and I was like, actually, it's not because this team cut us open, played silky passes, and they scored. It's because Harry Maguire's a brick. It's because Harry Maguire is a big player. It's if Harry Maguire did this, we wouldn't concede. If Harry Maguire did this, we wouldn't concede. If Harry Maguire, you know what I mean? It was less about we were being dominated and more about why did he make that individual mistake. Yeah, the part does think that if you got a Upamecano or Koulibaly or someone there in that position that didn't do that, would we be in a better position? Yeah, I think so. I don't know what people's thoughts are on that.
I'll let you go first, man. I'll let you go first.
Sorry?
No, I was just saying I didn't know if he was coming in. I couldn't hear if he was coming in there.
Red Max is I think his camera's frozen again. Yeah, bro. I think his camera's frozen again. You can just try coming in, coming out, Red Max, if you can hear me. So or just get involved in the comments, and we'll have your comments on. Chief. So what are your thoughts on that?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been bantering Arsenal on Twitter right now.
I'm this is true. I'm literally, bro, man.
No, but listen. Beg your pardon.
I'm being distracted going live for this, and I'm just seeing Arsenal. I mean, it just. But it's as I said. I know we're deviating from the point of the show, guys. We're getting involved in the comments, but it's I kept on telling these man here. I was like, you can't play a back three. You getting a result against Liverpool, against City, against United, playing a back three. You can't play a back three against Villa, against Leicester, against all these teams. You can't. And counterattack. It doesn't work. You can't do that. So, don't allow me with this Arsenal back, Arteta thingy, etc., etc. You know, I generally think even if Ollie stays, we'll finish above Arsenal.
Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah. I think. Do you know what? I think. Do you know? Listen, you know, we can back Arsenal and everything, right? And Arteta, sorry, yeah, the Spanish Tony Pulis is actually a better coach than Frodo. Okay, but in fact, there's no buts. You can see what Arteta is trying to do with Arsenal, and I think with Man United fans, me especially, after 2 years, 100 games, you know, I still can't see what he's trying to do. You know, we. Do you know what? Let's dissect it, G. Right? Check it. He always goes on about we want to play the attacking way, the old school, the DNA is the attack. Yeah, and when you look at some of his signings, they don't really go with what he's saying. You know,
we've got to name like how many of those signings were Ollie's first choice? First aim, or so like so. For example, like to be fair to Ollie, imagine if, for example, we signed Jadon Sancho, Erling Haaland, and Upamecano. I don't think if we then flopped, I'd be like, okay, fair man, this guy got to go. But I don't think that we do as bad as we do this season with like a proper forward, as you see with Haaland doing what he's doing, with Upamecano and with a right back, we move. But instead, you know, we get Cavani, shout out to Cavani. I mean, I'm not dissing him. I think he's a good finisher, but he's 33. We can't get another forward in. We missed out on Sancho, and we're relying on our centre backs being fit, which we know they're not. Because even though I would like Ollie to play Twansibi, because I think Twansibi is better than Lindelof and Maguire, to be fair, Twansibi, like Bailly, is made out of glass, and one injury away, we don't have any centre backs. We just have Lindelof and Maguire, you know. So,
bro, the thing, I'm glad you said that, right? So the thing for me, G, right? If he didn't get his original first target, okay, cool. Some people will say, if you can't get your main target, don't get him. But if you want to play a certain way, okay, don't shop around for one person the whole summer, whole transfer window, and then not get him. Like, excuse me, make sure there's a B plan or something that's close, you know? And like, for me, it's like, you didn't get that. Okay, we'll deal with what we've got. This is what we've got. But if you want to play attacking football,
wait. So I just up to you. Averages, it's not going to be 3-0. What do you mean? It's not going to be 3-0 to what? Because Arsenal losing 3-0. That's what we're talking about. It is 3-0 to Villa, mate. If you're like, it's not going to be 3-0, you need to check the Arsenal.
Watkins has scored 2 goals in 3 minutes.
It is actually 3-0. Just in case we're not trolling here. This is not prediction banter. We're actually being serious.
You see this? You see this? You know what that means? Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? I just think that with the players he had, you say you want to play attacking football. No, you don't, because you play counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
And the players you've bought, you set up for counter-attacking football. Now, do you know what? Yeah, Wan-Bissaka is not an attacking fullback. Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles can tell you that. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
No.
However, if you want to create a balance, get an attacking fullback on the other side, or you sign an attacking right back. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? But I think he's tried to come up with a formation, and it's not working. It's inconsistent, and I think we are consistent at being inconsistent. Now,
exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Some of these people like him. The players like him. Do you know why they like him? Because they can do what they want. There's no discipline. You know, for example, okay, for Portugal, Bruno doesn't play the same way he plays for Man United. Why? Because there's a structure. There's discipline. You know, for Man United, he's roaming around. He runs about, freestyle. Do you know what? Look, it's good, because when it comes off, it's brilliant. You know, for example, the Everton goal. Yeah, Lindelof goes for the header. Why is Lindelof going up for the header against Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Why? Harry Maguire. Do you know? It starts from leaders. You know. Do you know?
I still don't really understand that, because, like, I'm like, if that's coached, that's poor coaching because you always put, you always put the taller person and the central guy on the player. That's why when Liverpool went to Everton and Van Dijk was off, Everton were like, "Oh, sweet, they don't have Van Dijk anymore. We'll put crosses in we'll dominate them in the air," and they scored from those 2 set pieces. So I didn't understand why. I mean, one thing I will say is that like Bruno should be the captain. Harry Maguire shouldn't be the captain, in my opinion, for Manchester United. That's not because it's a personal thing to Harry Maguire.
No, it's just the skills, attribute.
And I think one thing I want to establish with Oli is that like it shouldn't be personal. Even if Oli gets sacked or gets left, that doesn't remove everything that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. People need to realize that, like, it doesn't remove that he won us the treble. Like that doesn't. What he does here doesn't remove that thing. So I think a lot of people are getting into it, getting emotional, like, "Oh, you're doing this and it means that." Like, of course it doesn't. Ole's always going to be a legend of the club, irrespective of what happens here or not. I think everyone can agree on that. But but there's a difference, obviously, between being obviously a good player and being a good manager. And whether I agree with you, I don't think that he's going to be the guy that's going to take us forward to the title. I would say, however, I don't think Pochettino is either. That's my personal opinion. But then at the same time, and obviously Average Joe here says we are consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, that's what I said, Average Joe. Do you know what I mean? We are. And, we're a bunch of... God, I don't even know what's PG to say, but for me, I just think I agree with him. We are, and I did say it earlier, we are. And do you know what the most frustrating thing is? Yeah, do you know what it is? Do you know what Man United are? Right, Man United are your partner. Okay, your partner that has bipolar. Okay, and you don't know what personality or mood or attitude she's going to have. Because you don't know, it's going to be inconsistent. When I say inconsistent, she could be, your partner could be in a big mood. She's angry, or she could be happy, whatever. That's what Man United are. Man United right now, because you hope, let's be honest, when the referee blew his whistle, every Man United fan said, "Guys, just today, turn up, just win." You know what I mean? Because I wasn't confident before the game, G. I wasn't confident.
What I would say though is that, like, I don't think that's necessarily specifically Ollie's problem. I think that's been the case since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Whether it's been under Mourinho, Van Gaal, Ole, etc., United as a squad have always been inconsistent. We hope that maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would change that. I mean, the only difference I'd argue with Solskjaer is that he's at least turned up in big games. We've seen the PSG, the Cities, etc., something. But over the last 8 years, and a lot of these players, like Martial, like Rashford, etc., played under 3 different managers, and they've still been inconsistent. So, and in fact, I'll put on the topic because I know obviously your thoughts are that we have a good enough squad. And so I'm reading this. Mo says Maguire's a good captain. It was just too soon, but Ole didn't really have many choices. And I agree with that. I think when Maguire was made captain when he came in, I don't think there were many options for the captaincy because obviously Pogba had. I disagree
with you, and I disagree with Mowada, but I'll let you finish. Okay. Sorry.
No, I mean, I think now you can make the decision. I think at the time, because I don't think Bruno was there. Pogba had said his kind of comments over the summer, and you didn't really know where he was going to be. So obviously, making him captain would have been a bit weird. And then, of course, De Gea was probably the only other option. And I think he said some comments about the club. So I think from a hierarchy point of view, they probably said he had to be dropped. So outside of those 3, I couldn't really think of anybody else aside from Maguire, even though. But yeah, sorry, go on, bits and bobs.
No, because do you know what? For me, do you know what? If you
like the bid, by the way, guys, like the bid. Go on.
Yeah, smash the like, guys. Make sure you subscribe. No, so you know what? For me, like at the time, because Bruno came in January, right? And I think this is where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, man management, and his handling of stuff is zero because Harry Maguire comes in. Okay, you say you want him, no problem. We get him, yeah. In a 2, if you've done your scouting, in a 2, Harry Maguire doesn't really play well, and he doesn't play. He always plays in a 3. Now, the old school saying about when you play three central defenders is because none of them are good playing in a two. So you have to play three. And then you play a back five so you can protect them, right? Harry Maguire had a good World Cup, and fans get very fickle, very pleasing saying that, oh, he's this good. But in hindsight, I said this on someone else's show, is Harry Maguire top 5 centre-backs in the Premier League?
It was Harry Maguire.
So the reason I'm asking that question,
I'll ask you this, bits and bobs. Is Harry Maguire better than Chris Smalling?
No, not in my opinion, no.
So we let Chris Smalling go to Roma.
Yeah.
And arguably he's a better, and to be honest, I mean, don't get me wrong, probably Chris Smalling wanted to leave, and fair enough. I think he wanted to go to
he's had his time.
Yes, you can't blame him. However, in a centre-back situation that we are, where Bailly gets injured all the time, Phil Jones, enough said, Rojo, enough said, Twansibi is also still tight rope away from potential injury. How many centre-backs do we have spare? So was it even wise for Manchester United to let Smalling go and not bring another centre-back in where, like, if one of our centre-backs gets injured, we're screwed. So let alone...
What are you managing? What is he doing then? Gee, this is what I'm trying to say to you. Like, what's going on? Do you know what? If you play FIFA, you can see your squad. You'd be like, well, I can't really let that guy go unless I get someone in. That's just common sense, okay?
That's on the board though, isn't though? That's not necessarily on Ollie per se. That's on like the board not being able to actually get, because I can't believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was like, yeah, I want Cavani on deadline day. I want Van der Beek, and Alex Telles, I think, is a good signing. I think will be interesting to see. There's one positive that's going to come from this, with obviously Shaw unfortunately picking up an injury. It'll be interesting to see how Alex Telles plays as our left back, because I think if there's one hopeful thing I can see is that someone from what I saw from glimpses from the PSG, Alex Telles is a lot better going forward, crossing the ball, dead piece delivery, etc. And I'm actually quite excited to see what Alex Telles gives us on that left-hand side, because I think he'll end up replacing him. So that's something that I am looking forward to.
I echo your words, G. I echo your words. I think we finally got a left back. Case closed. Let's move. I'm just looking at the comments here. Mo Wada saying Harsha Maguire. Name 5 better centre backs in the Premier League. I'm telling you right now, and this is not a dig. I mean, he's a good player, but I just think for what we wanted, okay, I think Solskjaer's trying to make him this John Terry, this Steve Bruce, this Pallister guy, that he's not. He's not a leader. He's not going to run through a brick wall. He's not going to push people. Well, I suppose he's body slammed and clotheslined, but he's not going to actually take charge. He's not going to command the back four. And for me, it's not his fault. It's not Harry's fault, because that's just not the play he is.
What I will give to Harry Maguire, what I will give to him, even though he does his mistakes, is that what I would say is that from corners and from set pieces, I do feel more confident. Like 9 times out of 10, Harry Maguire does win the ball in the end. That shouldn't be something that should be. He should score more goals, and he should have more, let's say, defensive intelligence. But generally speaking, I saw this in the Everton game with Harry because Everton, I think, probably about in the last sort of 30 minutes of the game, essentially just resorted to just crossing balls in the box to try and find Cavani. And I was like, nah, this is over. We've won this game. Why? Because I was fairly confident that Harry Maguire would win the balls in the air. And he did. And he does that. So there is a part of me that says, like, it shouldn't be taken for granted that you got someone in the box that could basically win balls in the air, so that from set pieces, like, we don't look vulnerable at all. Like, they can cross as many balls into the box, we'll be fine. The issue a lot of the time is when you've got balls over the top and you've got a pacey forward player or like a physical forward player that targets Lindelof, Maguire, etc., and they get sort of confused. But from dead ball situations, to be fair to Harry Maguire, he's usually pretty good.
But what's the main, if you're looking for a defender, what's one of the 3, 4, 5 attributes you want to be able to head at a ball? to be able to command, to be able to jump up and win a header. And do you know what? I'm not going to give credit where credit is due. He did win some headers there that were very crucial and stuff. For me, I just want more. I just want more. For the price tag's not his fault. I get that. Let's take away the price tag. But if you're my captain, I want more than that. You know, I want you taking leadership. I want you going through the back of some striker, saying to the striker, "You are not going to have your way today. You're not going to get any change off us at all." You know, and I do. I'm looking at the comments here, but I do think there's 5 other better centre backs than him.
Let's just go and just average jokes. I'm going to some of them, like, because average joke says, "Are you Pogba out?" I'm gonna be here because I don't hate poor Pogba. I don't hate him at all. But what I would say though is that we also need to be realistic, because I hear a lot about with Pogba, if we get a new manager, Pogba will be better. Pogba will be played in a better position. He'll be okay. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has, like, unlike Mourinho, who say dropped him towards the end. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has played Pogba in multiple positions.
Yeah.
And poor Pogba, and is it Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault that Paul Pogba gave away that penalty? I don't think so. That is on Paul Pogba.
Thank you.
So for me, and especially when you have someone like Van der Beek on the bench, who in his brief appearances is in my opinion played better than Pogba. In fact, I would argue that in terms of a midfielder, Fred has consistently played better than Pogba. Not because he's got more talent, but because he actually wins the ball. He's aggressive. Yes, he loses the ball a few times, but his interception rate is the key. So if you told me now, right, okay, you get Paul Pogba for say 60, 70 million, and that can be invested in a Upamecano or in a Haaland or in a right wing, etc. Would I snuff at that? If I'm honest, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Really?
I wouldn't. Because Paul Pogba is a good player, and certainly, as he's shown, is a good impact player. But I don't necessarily think that a new manager coming in fixes Paul Pogba. And for a lot of people, if we look at the games that we won this season, I know last season we played Matic, Pogba, and Bruno, we got top 3, and that was good. Although I would say that a lot of that for me was on Fred coming back into the team, and also Bruno Fernandes making the impact than necessarily Paul Pogba. I don't know. I think that Pogba's contribution to this team is overhyped, is overrated. And that the other players in this team, in my opinion, Fred, for example, that don't get as much support and appreciation. Just look at, the Istanbul game, I'll hand it to you in a second. The Istanbul game is a good example. Like, that team on paper should have been good enough to beat Istanbul.
Comfortably.
No one was complaining about that. Let's be real. No one was complaining about that lineup against Istanbul. No. And we lost. Everton, everyone is complaining about that lineup. It's trash. It's useless. What's going on, Ollie? We win the game. So, yes, Ollie's a brick in terms of selective lineup, etc. But we also have to say that maybe some of these players that are supposedly the better players aren't as good as we think they are. Do
you know what? I'm Pogba in because I feel, my opinion again, G, I feel that we're not utilising him in his most effective position. Okay, all he consists with is 4-2-3-1. Okay, cool. Well then, do you know what? Yeah, how about trying one thing about playing your best players in their best positions? So, Pogba is by far the most creative player we have, the most biggest personality. He likes to express himself. Pogba is not McTominay that will run, close down, not like Fred that will be tenacious and try and nick a ball and stuff. No. So what do? He's a luxury player, okay? You need to move him forward, higher up the park, where he can be effective. The same way Ollie has now created this base for Bruno, okay, with McTominay and Fred, okay?
So then do you drop Bruno then?
So what I do, I drop Scott and play Bruno and Fred together. Okay, because we know. That's me. And then you play Pogba in the 10. Okay. You just have to say. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, if you're gonna do your damage, do it up there. Okay, because you're hurting us. You're hurting us here. Sorry.
No. Oh, don't continue. No,
because I'm going
to get to your comments, guys. By the way, I'm going to get to your comments. So I go on.
And I think Bruno plays in that position for Portugal. He does it very fine. His range of passing is perfect. He tracks back, he defends, and he can get forward. He's got an engine on him. So let give Pogba the same energy. Let him create. Let him, because with Jose Mourinho, he was playing in the 10 position, and he was creating. So it's
Mourinho dropped him.
Mourinho dropped him because it was a personal vendetta. There was attitude and stuff, and Mourinho does this with every club. There's always a player or a popular player that has to get dropped and blah blah. But my point is that Pogba's still our best player, right? Everyone can say Bruno and blah blah. I don't care. Pogba's our best player. Give him the same foundation, the same base that you give Bruno, and see what happens. And you need to remember though, Bruno's only been here for not even a year.
The thing is now is that things have obviously now changed because we now have Van der Beek. That's why things are now different. So I would probably be saying the things that you're saying if we didn't have Van der Beek now. Now that we have Van der Beek, you're like, well, okay, if you can now have someone who is a lot more flexible in someone like Van der Beek who can come in and he can play in the number 10 in advance, but he can also play holding. What he's going to do is more adaptable. Then you're like, well, how does Pogba come into this team? Because you now got someone like Van der Beek who, certainly in my opinion, in the performances he's come in, he's pretty good, and he's been unfortunate not to be starting at Manchester United. That's why I'm like, I don't know how Pogba fits into this team as much now. If you're now also got some like the talent of Van der Beek on the bench, who, is not getting starts.
Okay.
I mean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, right? But I get what you're saying. But who bought Van der Beek? We don't know. Let's be honest, because I don't
probably wanted to get him because I don't.
No. He wanted Grealish. It was obvious he wanted Grealish. I mean, the word is he wanted Sancho, Grealish, and
Upamecano, I think.
Upamecano, yeah, that's who he wanted, right? So I get that. That's fine. Sometimes you never get what you want. I get that. With the Van der Beek situation, Solskjaer's saying that it's going to take him about 10 games to get into the way we play, blah, blah, blah. Has Solskjaer actually watched Donny Van der Beek play? Because he, on the merits of last season, the season before, he starts for our starting 11. He starts. Now, when I saw him coming, I thought, okay, maybe he's going to play like a 4-3-3, go on attacking. Like, out of the two of the three, Pogba, Bruno, Van der Beek, two of them out of the three will play, and you play someone a bit deeper. But no,
Arsenal fans having a meltdown, man. You just love to see it. You love to see the Arsenal
Arsenal are a bunch of jokers. Mikel Pulis, simple as that. Spanish manager with his whistle, and he's a cone man. Put it that way. But
before we go into Pod in, Pod Shout, so we should move on to that. I want to just quickly read some of these comments before we go.
For it.
Let me just think. So average, I think on the centre back thing, he says Laporte, Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Alderweireld, and the Tongan better. I'm not sure about Joe Gomez. I agree that there. Those CBs are better. Although Mo disagrees. Imax Football says United organization. Shout out to Imax Football. Head over to his channel. He's a City fan. Congratulations on the draw. I freaking love the Smiths. Thank you for coming onto the stream. Ollie's still the guy, but if we lose to West Brom, that might sack him.
Yeah.
Even Fabinho, when he plays, was a better, and he's a CDM.
Facts.
Ollie has created a siege mentality of the Everton game. I think we'll go on decent run, but these players will be consistent. Ollie needs to pick a consistent team and system. Please, thank you. Like the vid for everyone who's watching. IMAX Football, Pogba needs to go, period. He's a virus bringing down the club mentality. His influence on young players, taking nutrition of Fergie. I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
I think that's a heavy. I mean, are you in the changing room? Are you at Carrington? You know,
I wouldn't go that far, but it's like I said, it's like for me, things now change because Donny van der Beek is here. That for me is the thing. If Van der Beek wasn't here, I go like, yeah, let's try and get Pogba around. Now you're kind of like, well, Van der Beek is younger and he can't just be sitting on the bench all the time.
Yeah. If we're going to talk about the Fergie days, we always had depth in squad. You know what I mean? So we had 4 flipping strikers, remember? Do you know what I mean? We had different midfielders.
Smith says Van der Beek has to play instead of Mata. That's a good shout. You know, to be honest, I wouldn't even mind Pogba even playing in the position that matters in terms of a creative position, personally.
Do you know what's happening? Do you know what's happening now? Yeah, all the flair players are getting pushed wide. You know, in the middle of the park, there's no room for flair, panache. It's just industrial, hard workman. Like, you know, you see it now with, like, you know, no one wants to play the 10. No one, you know, like they all just want to run now, run and kick ball. If you think Pogba is the most creative midfielder, you've never seen Van der Beek play. I agree. Van der Beek is very creative. Pogba doesn't have the mentality to make him a top player for us. If he had a Bruno mentality, he'd be the best player. That is one thing I would say, though. That is one thing I would say about mentality, because I know a lot of people Pogba out, but the mentality of Bruno is clearly different. Yes, and you know what? I just want to touch on that very quickly, if that's okay with you. Do you know what, yeah? If you really deep it, okay, Pogba's not self-proclaimed. He doesn't say, I'm this, I'm that, okay? The media have always played him to be this kind of player, right? If me and you went to that Juventus team that he played in, and we were as mobile as him, athletic as him, okay, and explosive, of course we're going to look good, okay? And let's remember, he's came from Man United, not Blackburn or some next team, or some jokers in North London. He's came from Man United, right? So there's always going to be hype, regardless. Let's be honest. Adnan Januzaj has it, Makeda had it, blah, blah, blah. But the Serie A is a completely different league, different style, technique, you know, and it's not as intense or as fast as the Premier League. Now, his position in that Juventus midfield was a completely different role. You had freaking Pirlo and Marquisio, mate. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And now he's coming to play 1-2s with Scott McTominay. Come on, there's levels to this, right? However, with the mentality, I do agree, because do you know what? Pogba is from the new generation of footballers now. You know, social media. You know, like, not into judge bits of Bob, but even like you can see it, because like when I look at Bruno on the field, you can see it. He's like he's like ordering. Kino West. But Pogba's not that guy. That's the thing. I'm like, it's not an agenda. You just have to see what it is. It's like me and you saying right now that Bruno, that's the type. That's the way he is. He wants to win, blah, blah. Pogba's, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, blah, blah. I give away a penalty after time. To put it this way, I don't think if Pogba put it, like goal against Everton, if Pogba was in the position that Bruno was, I don't think Pogba makes that run. No. I don't think he makes that run. Whereas Bruno, with his mentality of like, so I see does make that run, you know, so it's horses for courses, you know, like swings and roundabouts here, you know. If we had 11 players like Bruno, we'd be competing. And I do think that a lot of our players, like aside from I think when Zlatan was here, there are a lot of our players where I'm like, you know, why do we have this at times weak mentality? Where we go down, like going a goal down, for example, should not be the end. Yeah, you can see the goal. Okay, cool. And against Everton, we did. Yeah, we could see the goal. Okay, fine. Boom. Let's go and crack on and get back into the game. That's how it should be. Conceding goals should not mean automatic loss fail. It should mean, right, let's switch on, guys. Let's go on. We're not going to allow this. There are just too many players in the squad that I think just don't have that about them. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've not got about them, and do you know what? They've been coasting. They're a bunch of jokers, some of them, and you need to ask yourself, some of the players, right? If they were coached differently, and I do bring it into coach because discipline. Imagine Bielsa at Man United with these guys. Do you know? Like, you must wonder what does go on in training, G, because Ollie talks about Man United way, blah blah. Football's changed. Football's never going to be like that. 4-4-2, go up, come. 4-4-2, come and beat us. If you go away, you play 4-5-1. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't happen anymore. And players aren't as passionate. See the people that play for Man United. Some of them just support Man United. Do you know? Like, some of them don't really get it. They're English, or they're like, yeah, it's a big club. I'll get there. I'll get wages, bigger wages. Some of them aren't like Bruno that get what it means to play for Man United.
Like Alexis Sanchez. We're not going to mention that. Speedy B has played decent whenever he's played for us. He hasn't been used properly yet as well. If we play him as an 8, he'll be great. Ollie just needs to find the right balance. We lack wings. That is true. That is a good point, I think. And I want to dwell on this point just a bit before we go into pochettino, poch out. One of the things that I would say about it is that I think one of the reasons why we're struggling, and one of the things that actually might be harming the way Ollie wants to play, is that we don't actually have any natural wingers in this squad. We don't. Daniel James is probably the only one, and he's a bit of obviously a brick. But Martial and Rashford, in my opinion, they're inside forwards, they're not natural wingers. So the whole point for me of the diamond formation is that, like, we have a lot of midfielders and it plays to our strengths. But to be honest, if we actually got proper wingers like Sancho, if we actually got proper fullbacks like Telles, obviously coming in, I think we could do the business. And
100%. We need to look at the balance, though.
And for a while now, what I would say, and I'm going to put you in bits and bobs, is just that we've been playing a lot of players. And I don't think it's just been Ollie. I think with Jose and even Van Gaal, where we buy these players and we put players into positions that they're not naturally supposed to play.
Thank you, G. Thank you. Bro, what did I say earlier? I went, how's an idea? Play your best players in their best positions. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, bro, the thing is, like, okay, do you know what, G? If look, Dortmund, I hate to talk about him, right? But Dortmund wanted 108 million or whatever it was for Sancho. If you weren't going to get him within 2-3 weeks, you move on to another target. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Like, we're not Manchester United of old where we come in and we get the player. It's not like that anymore. We should be so well in advance that if we don't get this guy, this is the other guy I want to get. Not be like, do you know, if you're doing your job right, what's your scouts doing?
We should, but unfortunately, it's been over successive managers. And I don't put this on Ollie. Like, I put this on like our recruitment, because the Chelsea. Well, in fact, I'll park that to one side because we're running a bit out of time. I just need to read a few more comments, and I want to end with this sort of poch in, poch out and predictions. Abigail, like the video, yes, please do. Rich Sports, shout out to Rich Sports. Please head over to his channel and subscribe. I think I'd sell Pogba if we've got a decent offer. We need to reinvest the money wisely, which I don't trust our board to do personally. Josh Watson, shout out to you, Josh. Hope you're doing well. Pogba is so talented, but he's not good of a mentality as Bruno, and he also isn't as useful, and he probably won't ever be as good as we bought him for. Average Joe says some jokers from North London. Well, shout out to Arsenal Football Club. Shout out to them. Only a team can banter, because they've actually now had 2 back-to-back home L's against Leicester City and against Aston Villa. So shout out to Arsenal Fan TV. Love you guys. It is what it is. AFT Villa chill tonight. How many years we've had Pogba? I don't think he'll be better than PL. IMAX Bruno Span says old school. We've had Pogba about 4 years. Glazers have done nothing club and only in it for the money, so we could never get the players we want. That's true, Josh. Hashtag Glazers out should be trending on Twitter as we speak. And even when we play the diamond, players will stay out of position. I question what Ollie's been doing on the training. And I also think that is a fair point as well.
Because against the Turkish team, Istanbul, Scott McTominay was coming in. Sorry, not that game. Was it the Arsenal game? The Arsenal game, yeah.
The Arsenal game,
Tommy was supposed to be playing the right side of the diamond, but he kept coming central. You know, he's obviously not being coached. And what we need to remember, G, is that players need told what to do. If you're doing tactics, you need to tell them, I want you to go there. Because, you know, if they do what you tell them to do and you lose, then you can be like, well, that's what I told you to do. So you put your hand up, like, okay, cool. But when you're freestyling and not listening to it.
I agree 90% of the time, but there's some things that you're like, you should just know. So that Istanbul goal, for example, I play 5-11 football. I don't need to be told that you need to mark that you don't leave someone free on the halfway line in your own half. I don't need to be told that. Like that's not
amateur football.
That's basic. That's not like any Sunday league person, you know, doesn't need their manager to tell them you don't leave an individual unmarked in your own half through on goal. That just it just doesn't make sense, you know. But I generally agree. I take your point. Lastly, let's rounding things off because almost an hour.
So quick.
Poch in or out, and the same from the comments as well. Poch in or out. Thanks to everyone who's watching. Appreciate it. Leave a like. Obviously, if Ollie had lost this game, I think there'd been a good chance that Pochettino would have come in, and obviously the rumors are getting stronger, and I think that they're not going to leave whole season, which puts a lot of pressure on Ollie. Do you think that Pochettino is the right man to take Manchester United forward, in your opinion?
So I think that, right? I think what's happened to Manchester United is that we went for Klopp, we never got him. We went for Pep, we never got him. Unfortunately, Pep went to Man City. The rest is history, correct? And obviously we went for Jose Mourinho, who did deliver trophies. We can't, you know, he's won the most trophies since Fergie left, okay? The thing with me here, because football has changed and elevated, you're not talking about, we can't go with another Ollie say, like a young manager. Okay, Poch is young, but we can't go for someone who's young, who wants to try and get in. We need someone who's Premier League proven. We need someone who can, you know, coach, who can develop, who can play better football. Now, you look around, I know it's Poch in or Poch out. I'd rather we had went and got Ancelotti, personally. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Okay.
Ancelotti at Everton. What? Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? So I'm for the better of the club, because Pochettino will have 30 plus games to, you know, rejuvenize us. I think, yes, I am, because people say he hasn't won anything. Okay, G, right? He took Tottenham from being a bottle job FC, okay, to basically being regarded as one of the top 6. He created the category. Tottenham created that category, okay? And I just think with what he'd done at Southampton, Espanyol, and look at the players that he coached there, where they are right now. You know, look what they're doing. I think if you say to Poch, we're going to give you 100 million and this squad, I think he takes it. And I think he develops us. Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely Poching. Definitely Poching.
Okay. I'm gonna give my counter thought to that, because my vocals are not Poching, but before I do that, not a Poch fan. I prefer one of the new breed of coaches, is Georgia B. I've just found his channel. I love it, lad. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for shouting and subscribing, Josh Watson. I really, really appreciate it. And head over to my boy's channel as well, Bits and Bobs as well. Give him a subscribe as well. Josh. Please head over to his channel and subscribe. Really, really, really appreciate it. Moyes was 5th or 6th choice manager. I think, yeah, he was actually. Yeah. And what are the defensive coaches doing on the training camp? Which sports? I think we're all asking that question.
They play Candy Crush on their iPad.
why I'm hesitant on Pochettino is not actually because it's not actually, well, there's a few reasons. I think the first reason is that people actually forget that a lot of people say Tottenham were nothing before Poch. That's not technically true. Harry Redknapp was at Spurs with the likes of Bale and Luka Modric, etc. You know, doing a business in the Champions League and they're around top 4. So
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
but
Yeah,
that
okay.
2 or 3 years. So they were, and that was early. That's 2011, 12, 13 period. So and to be honest, had they kept that squad, they would have probably done the business. It's just that I think Real Madrid obviously were there, so they were relevant in that sense. And I would argue they were probably they played better football in that sense. The second thing I think is that while I get that Pochettino obviously gave Spurs a consistent built them up, I do question bottling it against Leicester City in that league, when, to be quite frank, they should have won the title then. That was for Spurs. That was when every other top team was trash, including City and Liverpool. And with the quality of players you had, you still bottled that league. And so and there's certain games in that season where I was like, what are you doing? The last thing really is also on the selection of players. And there's a fourth reason. I'll come to that in a second. Lucas Moura scores you a hat trick in a semi-final to get you to a Champions League final, and you bench him for Harry Kane, who's not played in 3 months. As a managerial decision, for me, that's suicide. You don't do that. He scored a hat trick, I think back-to-back hat trick in leagues, and you bring on Kane, who's not a bad player, but hasn't played for 3 months, and you lose the final. And last season, he lost the dressing room. He took one of the biggest L's I've seen in CL history when he lost to Bayern Munich at home 8-2.
Yeah.
His tactics were out of the blue, and he started to lose the dressing room. And you don't see Spurs fans demanding Pochettino back. And the players that he had, the players he had were good. In fact, I'd argue at times the Spurs squad was better than the United squad. You can't tell me that Hugo, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Kane, Spurs, Son, Lucas Moura, Sissoko, that isn't a good squad. That's a good squad. So I have concerns, much like when I had concerns with Mourinho, when you get in a manager who was sacked for various issues coming in to a team that, let's be real, with an ownership that's not going to necessarily back, because you say he's going to get 100 million.
No, that was just me saying. That was me just saying. No.
Yeah. But for me, even, to be honest, in this sort of pandemic-rich times, with United hemorrhaging money, I generally don't think that he's going to get that much. If he was to come in, he was going to get that much to spend in the summer anyway. He's just going to get the squad. Do I think he can do better than Ole with the squad? Yes. But do I think he's the manager to long-term to get us to winning titles, competing in the Champions League? If I'm honest, bro, I don't think so. I'm not confident yet. And is there a manager who I think is? If I'm honest, I'm going to be honest here, guys. And I know it's unrealistic, but we haven't heard anything. City have yet to extend Pep Guardiola's contract.
Oh, gee. Are you going to see what I think you're going to say?
They've not, but they've not though, bro. They've not extended it. They've not given him a new contract. And he's got 6 months left. Why don't Manchester United go all out, throw all their money for Pep? That's all I'm saying. That's why not?
I think politically, I mean, Pep. Look, I mean, I think Pep's after. Pep hasn't got nothing to prove in the Premier League. He's came and won it, and so on. Okay, and I just think that he wants the Champions League, and I think this season will be his last. I just think that football goes in cycles, and I can't see it. I mean, I wouldn't reject it. Listen, I'm not stupid.
Because we approached him, and it's like, for me, I know what. Sorry, worldwide. Shout out to Worldwide Reds. Shoujo. What's up, G? Because I've just seen your comment, man, and it's like, gee, stop with the Pep madness. I'll get to the other comments. I just think it's strange that this guy is 8 months left. The club have not chosen to extend his contract. Yet he's not necessarily got any offers, and you're telling me that United, with the money that we have, couldn't make him the most expensive manager and say, bro, you could have, if the board were like, listen, we will get you anything that you want if you come to manage Manchester United. You're telling me that United fans wouldn't take Pep at United?
Do you know football? If you're a football fan before Man United, I mean, football fans would be like, yeah, they can see why you go for him. I just don't see Pep doing that. I just think it's, he already said no to us. He opted for the oil and gas money. Do you know what I mean? So I can't see that happen. I saw in the comments someone said Nagelsmann failed his Old Trafford test. Do you know what I mean?
So did Poch, though, to be fair, twice. And
do you know what? The thing about football, the longer you're out of football, the higher your status becomes. And when you go on Monday Night Football, that's normally to say you're ready for work. And look, Ed Woodward wouldn't be doing his job if he wasn't looking for another manager. That's just how it works.
Jeez. Kimmich is out until, I've just seen this joke. Kimmich is out until 2021. Wow. Boy. I think that opens up, in my opinion, the CL a lot, because since Liverpool have got their injuries, Bayern have got their injuries, Well,
I think, for them, Bayern have this way of being able to recycle and get someone in and find players and stuff. Also, they've got the black boy from America, the American. No, I beg your pardon. No, that's Juventus. I do beg your pardon. Goretzka's still there. They've still got Tolisso. So, they've got sufficient cover, haven't they?
They do, but Kimmich is
a baller. He's a baller. And you've got Pavard who can play right back. So, are they going to be, maybe Champions League-wise, but I don't think domestically they'll be troubled.
No. Bundesliga will be fine. I just think that if they face the prime Liverpool, for example, then maybe they might struggle. Possibly maybe an informed City might give them problems.
Yeah,
maybe. Worldwide Reds, Poch is the choice. He needs United as much as we need him. If he's going to be a true great, let it happen with us instead of someone else's. That's fair enough. George B, I think, said a point that I think which was that Harry Redknapp was doing a business, obviously, with George B. Pep, surely close to burnout. He never stays that long anywhere. That's a fair point. Crazy thing would be when Poch goes to City and finally wins the UCL. That is not happening. That is not happening. That is not point. Would Pep do that from City? Well, to be honest, people keep on saying this, but I just remind people that Jose Mourinho is managing Spurs. I will never manage Spurs. I will never manage Spurs ever. And now he's managing Spurs Football Club. And he said
there's no loyalty in football. There's no loyalty. It's a job. Let's be honest. It's a job. It's a job. So
if people said I was saying sometime before back in the day, I was like, when it was so bad, I think under Jose, I was like, I'd take Brendan Rodgers, and people he was a Liverpool person. I was like, bro, at the end of the day,
he's a good coach.
He's a coach. If you're a good coach, you make play. I don't care. Gone are the days when you're that desperate, you're playing badly. You don't say no to a coach because they manage another team if they're a good coach.
Exactly. And do you know what the managers were mentioning now? Your Brendan, your Poch, and Pep, Premier League experience, and Man United don't have time to buy. Because as we're trying to use some common sense, okay, Liverpool are getting stronger, and you see Jota, how he's just fitted in well with Klopp, and it makes you wonder, if they can do that, other teams are going to get stronger. Chelsea are slowly clicking together. We haven't got time to experiment, So
I think
someone that comes in has to get it right.
I think fundamentally, and obviously Wallace is not saying there aren't any choices, but just seems Poch is tailor-made. Nagelsmann, Ten Hag, etc. would work. Crazy. Oh yeah, I've read that. Even Jose looked human as a TV commentator. That is true. He was a good TV commentator. Pep could go to PSG, because he likes a lot of signs and big money.
I see that happening.
It wouldn't be a challenge, would it?
But then G, though, if you think about it, though, if he wins them the Champions League, I think this is the thing now. He's only won Champions League with Barcelona, And you need to think, if you go to PSG,
Well,
bits and bobs.
This is Josh's point, actually. He says here, to be honest, if I bought someone who was meant to be the best manager in the world and failed to get us to a UCL semi-final twice against Lyon and Spurs, I wouldn't want to extend his contract. And maybe that's what City are talking about. Yeah. Not gonna lie,
Well said, man. Well said.
Let's be real here.
Well said, yeah.
Ollie's got a social Ollie, even Ollie's got into a quarter-final. You know what I mean? So like he's not passed further than Ollie, or even Pellegrini got further. So
exactly, Pellegrini got to the semis. So you're right, Josh. You're right. And listen, people at City, his voice might be getting boring now. His cycle doesn't normally end after 3-4 years. And what's this? His 5th year or something?
Yeah. I will tell you, dark horse is great coach, Griezmann for United, Jesse March, RB Salzburg. There's Salzburg are doing a business. I do hear
no Premier League experience though. Germany. No disrespect to the German league. You've seen Werner come over here and struggle for a little bit. You've seen Kai Havertz come over, and managerial wise, it's a different intensity.
Jurgen Klopp obviously came for the Bundesliga
but he didn't win a trophy until his 5th year.
5th? I think it was it 4th? I think it was 4th year.
Yeah. True. Haven't got 4 years.
True. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you think about the differences, right? The situation Liverpool were in compared to us now is completely different because Liverpool weren't getting to semi-finals of Europa League. Liverpool weren't finishing in the top 4. But he had a structure and he had the weight. And the difference between Klopp and Man United, Klopp bought players for his system. He wasn't trying to buy the best players in general. He bought players to suit his system.
Because he's a good coach, fundamentally, at the end of the day. Like, that's it. At the end of the day.
Exactly.
Right, bro, we're going to have to round things up. We're going for an hour now. Thank you so much for everyone that was getting involved in the stream. Really, really appreciate it. Shout out to everyone in the comments. Shout out to Bits and Bobs as well. Please follow him on Twitter and head over to his channel as well and support this guy. Make his channel grow. Push him to, I think, how many subscribers? Just push him to 100, 200, 1,000, man. Just plug it. Just say a bit about what you do and stuff like that. And,
yeah. So obviously, Twitter handle @bitsandbobs_. Bits has got the Z and Bobs has got the Z. Catch me on YouTube, Bits and Bobs. Basically, Man United, all football. Got a channel. Got a show with Ladimus Prime. We talk about weekend rap. And I also do a show Thursdays where we talk about football media and the racism and also just any controversy. And also look out for my tweets because I'm a Man United fan and I like to bash Arsenal, Chelsea, and everyone else, man. Hit me up. Right. Well, let's round off. There's a lot of AFTV and chill to be done tonight. So thanks everyone for watching. Have a nice day, everyone. And cheers. Shout out to you lot, man.